I want to do a silver update here, more of a psychological update because I will give the straight facts on this. I thought that silver was going to drop down below 26 this time, but expected it to happen sometime in April. Not this. I thought the upturn would be already going on in May. So we're already into May, and it's May 3rd, Thursday. And we had a hard day on the metals today. Now, what's weighing in on the metals? There's some worries or fears out there that, the economy is slowing down. That's partly it. And there's some kind of expectations about, the non-farm payroll for tomorrow morning when it comes out, what the numbers are going to be. Now, I don't know what the numbers are. Some people probably do know the numbers, and if I knew what the numbers were going to be, that would be great. But that could change the markets drastically tomorrow, because usually when you have a sign a day like this, when you have everything going down, it doesn't last that long. All the metals groups is down, the Dow's down, the Nasdaq's down, S&P's down, and when the S&P's down, crude oil's down. So everything was affected today. It crossed all the board, the whole spectrum of commodities and the equities. It's a trend that's not going to always continue like that. And if there is something that happens severely, some event, Ben Bernanke will act. And this is what I'm thinking is going to be coming up soon enough. It's going to be unexpected. The thing is, it's always like, what the majority seems to think is going to happen is never what happens. And right now, I feel actually very bullish on the metals because the majority of the silver pundits out there are pretty depressed. And so I think there will be a turnaround soon enough. I don't think it's going to get down to this 25, 26 stuff. It should have done it already. And I know even though today was a very bad day for the metals, I don't think it's going to continue much further down. But that it could be because of what happens tomorrow with the non-farm payroll numbers. But like I stated, before, it's not going to be like a long period down, because if everything falls apart hard, Ben Bernanke is going to act hard, and when he acts, silver is the commodity that outperforms. During times of QE, silver will outperform the other commodities in most cases. Now today we also had in Europe some bad unemployment stats come out, and that's affected the market too with the metals. But globally things are actually looking pretty good. It's actually in Europe that stuff's looking pretty bad. Unemployment in the 17-country Eurozone rose to almost 11% in March 2012 from 10.8% in February 2012. Last year it was 9.9%, so it's up a full percentage point from last year. So that was bad last year, so it's even a little worse now. It's mainly in Spain, Italy, Portugal, and Greece. That's where the big problems lie, in those countries with the most unemployment, and also the banking system too. European Central Bank officials voted today on Thursday to hold interest rates steady. That was a widely expected move. That was, people, it was not something earth-shattering that happened that would affect the markets, because they did expect them to hold the rates steady. But the euro area economy is still sliding towards recession. So, but that is actually the euro area, and it's not so much the global. Now, JP Morgan actually came out with the newest, it's on here on the Bloomberg chart, about the global manufacturing index. Now, we know in Europe zone it's actually down. But with globally, manufacturing is up. So that's actually good for the metals. So today's news, where everything got slammed and everything got slammed yesterday, I don't think it's going to last that long. I don't know any other unforeseen events out there, but overall the picture is looking pretty solid globally. And when you have industry that's pretty strong, silver should do well. Even though Europe's not doing well, globally things are going pretty well. Now, also take note, back here in December, you notice the global manufacturing index was going up from the end of November to the end of December, yet the metals were going down. It takes a little while sometimes to have an effect, but the trend is basically going to be upward in silver. I don't know if it's what it's going to do in the next week, but I am thinking it's turning around very soon. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm not just stating that because, I expected the timing on this thing would have actually had to have pulled back more. So, within this time period. Now, I could be wrong, and it could be going down to here in the next couple weeks. But if you're not on leverage, just hold on and just wait it out, because I am not sure what the direction of the metals are right now. If I was sure, I would get in leverage. Obviously, I'm not sure right now. I don't know if this is going to have too much more of a pullback, but if the pullback, say it does go down to some crazy number below 30, it gets down to 27, 26, or even 25, it's not going to last that long. It's going to be a fast, hard dip. It's not going to go down here and go straight across. It's going to be a V pattern. It's going to jump up, because that means Ben Bernanke would more likely act, not just because of silver prices, but if silver prices are affected that bad, it's going to mean that a lot of stuff is affected very badly. And it's not that he's trying to raise the prices of commodities, but that means that something's going wrong in the economy. So he's going to have to try to stimulate the economy, and he will. He will act. As a side note, I wanted to put this out about Rudolf Diesel. I know this is basically a silver update, but I find this interesting, and I just want to put it out within this update. Rudolf Diesel, actually, this guy, I always used to think, why the hell we don't use diesel fuel in our cars and diesel engines, because they last triple what the gasoline engines do and all this type of stuff. But I want to interject that this guy was probably, well, he was murdered. I'd say he was murdered. And there's various reasons they say why, or they guess why. But I always think when it's somebody disappears, and actually, if you look, this is right in Wikipedia, and it says strange death. It has it down here even. He 1913 Diesel boarded the post steamer Dresden in Antwerp on his way to a meeting of Consolidated Diesel Manufacturing Company in London, and basically somehow he just was they found him in the water, days later, like quite a bit later, badly decomposed and everything like that. I think this guy might have been killed because of the oil interest. I'll just put this out as a conspiracy theory, but one that makes the most sense to me, because his engine was something that ran off of vegetable oil or peanut oil or hemp oil, and it can actually far outlast anything that's any gasoline engine there was. So I kind of want to just put this out here because a lot of people are into silver. They're looking at the economy a lot, and so I always like to interject a real economic solution. And one of the real economic solutions is energy, and energy from agriculture products. And one of the engines that runs agricultural oil very efficiently, practically with no modifications at all, is the diesel engine that was developed by Rudolf Diesel. And this guy, he was killed. I mean, he was murdered. So it's a matter of why. And my theory is, looking at what happened with how the women's suffrage movement was given money so they could ban the sale of alcohol because the crude oil industry didn't like the competition coming from the agricultural products. This guy's particular invention, Rudolf Diesel, ran off of agricultural products. It ran off of vegetable oil, it ran off of peanut oil, and it would run off of hemp oil. And in the case of hemp oil, that stuff could be extremely plentiful. Produces 5 it produces many more times fuel than any other agricultural plant out there. So, I kind of want to add this on the end of this silver update as an interesting side note. But, because I know the people that are into silver realize that there is well, I don't quite buy into the total conspiracy that, the silver prices are being driven down by the banksters in the same manner as a lot of people say in the silver crowd, because I notice all the commodities kind of run together. But yes, I do agree that the fiat money system is extremely evil, and we need to get rid of it. And a system based upon commodities, or a basket of commodities, would be the best thing. And I don't think it would possibly be best to base it upon silver. Actually, I would think since energy is the most important item in the Goldman S&P commodity index. Now, if we changed our energy needs to come from agriculture and primarily industrial hemp, guess what would be the biggest and strongest commodity that would be back in our currency if we're using hemp as energy? It would be hemp. Kind of returning right back to the way it was before the United States was even formed, and which is colonies. So, I think that's a very important idea, and I'm going to keep emphasizing that idea. But if you're in silver right now, don't get too depressed about this stuff, because we're going to see an upward trend soon enough. I don't know if it's going to actually go all the way down to the 20-something range. I think there's too much buying pressure coming from China. It might do that for a day or two, but it's going to be short-lived. It's going to be short-lived, because this thing should have pulled back already, I think. And if there's a problem where it gets down that low, Ben Bernanke will act hard, and it's just going to drive it right back up very much so. So I would just hang on. I think they're playing a game with the small investors right now, and they're trying to shake them loose. Don't get shaken loose. But also, don't go 100% into silver. That's not too cool either. I mean, it's good to put money into silver, yes. Just don't go too far into it.